parents for that one. What's up?
I want to ask you about this Doc Rivers story. So Peter Vesey, who he used
Peter Vesey
was Woj before Woj, right?
Yeah.
He's the original Woj. So Peter Vesey came out and said, hey, Magic loves Doc. Doc can get out of his deal into this year. And you know what? The Lakers, they don't want anybody with ties to LeBron to make it look like LeBron's running the joint.
Right.
The only guy with the cred to stand up to LeBron, and a guy who can coach, and a guy who could attract free agents, a guy who's won a title before, he's in the same building. He's Doc Rivers. This was Doc last night asked about the story.
My job is not done here. I came here for a lot of reasons, and one of them was obviously to win a world championship, and the other one was to make this place a place that people respect and want to come to. I think we've accomplished or are accomplishing that part, but not the second part or the first part yet. And so that's my goal, and that's it. So we don't need to go on this anymore. Thank you, please. I'm going to be here, and I'm looking forward to the future.
He said, I'm going to be here. Now, look, coaches have contradicted themselves in the past, but we also know he's got an owner who's got a huge checkbook, and he wants a legit rivalry with the Lakers. I don't see him going anywhere. I have a job, and the Lakers have a coach. I'm going nowhere. That's what he said. Do you take him at his word?
No, I do. Doc's amazing, and I like him better with the Clippers than if he was going to the Lakers. Now, as far as LeBron respecting a coach to come in, Doc would be one of those guys. Doc's a player's coach. He's a great motivator, and he's won a championship. So, but again, I like how Doc just like nipped it right in the bud. Right, I'm staying here, and that's it. And it would be better if Kevin and Kyrie did that early on and stuck with it than wanting the narrative to expand and be creative.
Right. I mean, you just shut it down. Okay, so then who now? Right? Like,
I like Ty Lue.
I do too.
I like Ty Lue.
I do too. The problem though is the perception becomes LeBron's running the joint.
Right.
And people in the NBA have told me like, hey, that means all right, so LeBron's running the joint. That means you have no power when you go there.
Right.
And that if you're not a clutch sports guy, you're not going to get a deal there.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's a reality, but that's a perception. Does that matter to you if you're hiring?
Let me ask you this. What's the difference, right? It's like, Doug, your son, how old's your son?
10.
Okay, 10. So your son, he plays baseball, right? So he's 21 years old. He's Trout, he's Harper. Right, and then would you mind if the organization comes to you because he's the star, right? He's a Trout, he's a James, he's a, Harper. Would you want the franchise coming to your son to ask your son?
This is different.
Well, it's kind of the same thing because he's the best, and when you're the best, this is what I want with me because I know how to win. You can say whatever you want as far as organization or whatever, but the most important person, the people that are playing.
No. I understand that, but it's different when basketball is. He plays hoop, and basketball is different than baseball, as you know, in terms of in terms of manager.
Right.
There's also look, the Rich Paul thing it's been a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have a GM who is a former agent himself, and he's basically shown a ridiculous amount of love for Rich Paul. I mean, like, look, when they got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he said it was like bread from heaven. I
don't think Rich Paul is no different than David Falk. David Falk was he was very powerful, and he was maybe more behind the scenes, like a Geppetto, Pinocchio Geppetto thing.
Yes.
Well, just because you're behind the scenes, you're quiet, doesn't mean you're still disturbing things. Because David Falk, and I love David Falk, great, amazing agent throughout the years.
For people who know, Michael
Jordan's agent, right?
But Michael Jordan didn't pick Phil Jackson. He didn't. Michael Jordan didn't like a lot of the moves that they made.
Right, but then he loved Phil, right?
Well, Jerry Krause. He came to love Phil. He did not he never liked Jerry Krause. But
Jerry Krause,
did build the team. Did build the team around him, right? And if that's and though, look, Kobe got coaches fired. There was Kobe, and Phil Jackson was the one guy that would stand up to Kobe. Wrote negative things about him in his book. Like there was a love-hate thing. And Phil
different. Had leverage because he won 3 before.
And there's also and so I guess I'm asking, like, is the Ty Lue because he was the guy one time that won and LeBron is different than a couple of years ago.
You think about it like this, right? When you're young, right? when you're young is different than when you're older, because you start getting older and you become more grumpy. And I think you need someone that knows
how you work.
Knows you, because LeBron can be grumpy, right? He can be a grumpy player. His body language, I don't like. I love him as a person, but I seriously despise his body language when things go wrong. So Ty Lue understands that the older you get, because I'm a grumpy person when I'm playing ball too, because it's like you expect certain things, right, from certain guys, and when they don't show you that, you become a little impatient. And when you get older, you become more impatient. That's why grandparents are so amazing, because they can give the kids back. Like, if I have to keep watching them forever, like, I don't know what I'll do with these guys. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. I think Ty Lue can take him because he understands LeBron. And he knows LeBron's mood swings.
Okay, let's get to something Kobe Bryant had to say. He said Anthony Davis is one of the great players in the history of the NBA, and that he doesn't care how good. Basically, said he doesn't care how good the young guys are.
Right.
Trade them all to get Anthony Davis.
Right.
Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram are three of them better than Anthony Davis. I would say no one would argue with him, but the three of them combined under rookie deals better than Anthony Davis. And then he said Anthony is one of the best players in the history of the NBA.
Right.
Do you agree with what Kobe has to say?
I do agree with Kobe. Now, this is the funny thing. If LeBron would have said that, right? If LeBron wasn't there and Kobe was there and they could get a chance, and Kobe was in his 15th year or whatever it was, and he still has some gas in the tank, and Kobe would have said that, do you think the Laker fans would have bashed Kobe like they bashed LeBron about getting rid of these young guys so we can hurry up and win? You think that would happen?
You can't say it when you're still a player with the Lakers.
Why can't you say?
Because you can't say that when they're on your team.
Well, one thing is he didn't say it outright. That's what he didn't do. But my point I'm trying to make is if Kobe's thinking it, that means Kobe would have did it too. Well, so that's what I'm saying. People need to lay off for LeBron, because it's not just LeBron. It's Rob Pelinka.
I agree.
It's Magic Johnson.
Listen, look, if Kobe's saying it, whether Rob Pelinka thinks it or not, Rob will go with.
And who's one of Kobe's best friends?
Rob Pelinka.
Oh, okay.
Right? No, I'm getting right.
Yeah,
like
right,
either he's telling Rob this or he and Rob think the exact same thing.
Right.
But I guarantee Rob Pelinka's going like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, you can take.
I mean, is
of
Kobe really running that show too with Rob behind scenes?
I actually don't think that he is, but I do think that he's an advisor. He's an advisor.
I like that. I like that advisor. I like that.
Okay, last thing. The Warriors. I'm not concerned a little concerned only in that I don't think they're better with DeMarcus Cousins. I think they're different. Mm-hmm. When they've won NBA championships, it's Draymond Green at center, death lineup, and they can switch everything and just hide Steph defensively.
Yep.
Now, Draymond's not the same right now for whatever reason, and DeMarcus Cousins makes them worse defensively, and I don't know if he helps them enough offensively to hide it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure it matters because the West doesn't appear to be as strong as it's been, but do you think it's ultimately going to matter?
It will matter. And I agree with you. I don't really care for DeMarcus with them because they've done so well in the past years of switching all ball screens and hiding Steph. And again, you're hiding Steph, but guess what? Steph is top 5 in steals every year also. So it's not like he's that much of a vulnerability. The ISO part, especially when they play Houston, they exposed Steph. And I saw when Draymond twisted his ankle, he was rushing over there to cover for DeMarcus Cousins because Chris Paul had him on an island, was about to put him on an island, and that's when Draymond fell like somebody shot him and rolled over to Steve Kerr, who was like oblivious at the point in time. But again, I don't like DeMarcus Cousins with them because of the mobile part of everything, and that's what they were so good at one point in time. And I think Draymond, his body's taking a toll on him because of so many years of him sacrificing his body for the team. And, it's just his personal life, right? His personal life. And, it's taking a toll. Now, if he, I love Draymond Green with the Golden State Warriors before I love DeMarcus Cousins.
I agree. It's going to be fascinating to see. Last thing, I've tried to put Zion Williamson. I said, okay, you take some Barkley, some Draymond, some Blake Griffin. People forget what a freak athlete Blake Griffin.
I said this the other day.
What did you?
I heard
you're here. I apologize. I was on the phone driving in listening to you.
Yeah.
And I said, and a little bit of Rodney Rogers. I know you played.
This is what I loved. Oh, Rodney Rogers was great. Yeah. But who I loved was
Thick.
Oh, Thick and everything. He was amazing. I love Rodney. I love him so much. Bad situation that happened to him. Rodney's was a paraplegic. I feel bad for him. But I go Larry Johnson and Blake Griffin mixed into one with a little bit of Barkley. That's what I am going right now. What I see right now. Can he get better? Yes, he can. Yeah. Because Blake didn't have a jump shot in college.
Right. I would say yes, but he actually has a better jump shot than Blake had in college. I would say, but the difference is that some people are missing is, whereas in the past, you go back 10 years ago, and he's kind of got to be a small forward, right? Maybe play some power forward.
Right.
Now he can play Draymond Green's position, which is small ball center.
Yeah.
And he can score in there, and if he continues
I just haven't seen him with the Draymond Green's
basketball IQ.
That IQ. Now, Julius Randle, he reminds me of that Julius Randle with a more athletic at the moment. With the Blake Griffin athletic ability and the Larry Johnson-ish kind of body. Yeah. But Draymond Green's IQ is woo.
Yes, I agree. I think his is not Draymond Green's, but it's much better than Julius Randle's.
Right,
and he's a much better athlete than Julius Randle. But I get what you're saying. And he's actually, Julius Randle could never really move in the post.
Right.
You know, he had to one dribble spin.
Yeah.
You know, that was his deal. But I think it's the whole idea the NBA has changed. Mm-hmm. Whereas he doesn't have to switch position. If anything, he can actually play center now because of Draymond Green.
And he's 285 pounds too.
Yeah, I don't know if you carry that in the NBA.
That's crazy, huh?
It is crazy. Not as crazy as the green suit. It takes a man with a lot of lower intestinal fortitude to wear a green suit, but you pull it off quite nicely. He's the one and only Cuttino Mobley. Cuttino, great stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Coming up next, the Arizona Cardinals are married and dating. We'll get to that upcoming next. But first, when the real tough weather hits, the performance of your wiper blades can make all the difference. Introduce